Welcome back. We're here to preview Saturday afternoon's Premier League match between Aston Villa and West Brom. Barnes, let's start with Villa. Played Leicester last time out in form. Leicester had a 2-0 lead, but they blew it, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a fantastic match for the neutral, wasn't it? You thought when Aston Villa went 2-0 up, that really good Gill goal after Grealish had scored a really good goal of his own, you thought they'd just see out the match. Leicester, they weren't playing too well at that stage, especially the first half. Aston Villa were the better team. They seemed to have control over the game. And there was a spell even at 2-0 up where they were passing it about. They're getting cheered by their fans the whole time. And I thought at that time, Aston Villa have got a decent team here. They've got a lot of players throughout the spine of the team. They've got Sanchez, who I think is a good player, Gill, who's a good player in centre midfield. The centre-back partnership of Lescott and Richards, I thought, really good experience in the Premier League, and they could be a very solid partnership at the back down, could help them stay up this season. But then when Leicester get their momentum going, I don't think there's many teams about in the Premier League who could stop them. Aston Villa they suddenly started giving the ball away. They didn't help themselves, but Leicester, they were just on fire in that stage. And even when they got that first goal back, you knew Leicester were just going to complete the comeback. It was a fantastic comeback from them. Villa just couldn't really do anything about it to stop it. They collapsed against the momentum. Sherwood said after the match that he's never felt like that after a game, and obviously it was so disappointing for him. But I saw a lot of positives for them to take from that match, and I don't think it's all negative. Obviously the result was a poor one for them, and they're still looking for their first win since the opening day. But I did see quite a few positives, and they've got a few tidy players in their team, I think.
Yeah, certainly. I've been impressed. I mean, I saw Grealish last year, and I thought, he's clearly got a lot of talent, but I wasn't sure. People talking about, should he be an England or Ireland international, and I thought it's too early to sort of be saying that he could be an England international. But you watch him play, and he does seem to be sometimes just one step ahead of some of the other players. He seems to have that really good football brain, and like I say, both his and Gill's goal were really, really good. But they really defended quite poorly in some of those situations. I know Mahrez has been playing brilliantly at the moment, arguably the Premier League's best player at the moment, but they must know that he wants to jink side to side, and they kept jumping in on him. And the central midfield area was completely empty sometimes, and it allowed Leicester's counter so easily. They already had three men up front, and I saw some replays, and it showed that just this gulf in midfield where when you're 2-0 up, why are you pushing midfielders forward? You should be filling that midfield area. So they were poor there, and they can't make such bad mistakes, especially in a home game like this against the West Brom side, who they're really fancy beating, and their home record isn't good. They've only won 3 of their last 14 games at home, and they're the kind of mistakes you just can't make. Say if they take a 2-0 lead here, they can't make the same mistakes again. I know West Brom aren't as electric as Leicester can be, but you can't just leave gaps like that. You've got to you've got to play the game right. I know Sherwood probably wants to play as attacking football and as good football as he can, but when you've already got a 2-0 lead with 2 excellent goals, especially when you're away from home against a team like Leicester, you've got to sit back a bit and try and defend the lead. You shouldn't invite pressure too much, but the way they defended and just allowed Leicester too easily, I thought, to sort of have as much space as they did was poor.
Yeah, they will fancy their chance. I think obviously West Brom's not an easy game, but they'll fancy a chance of getting something out of it, and I think it's pretty important they do. They've got a really tough run of fixtures coming up. They've got Birmingham first in the League Cup, which obviously a Championship side, but Midlands derby, that's going to be a feisty affair. Everyone's going to be up for that. Actually, their third Midlands derby in a row, so it's been a big run of fixtures for them. And then we've got Liverpool, Stoke, Chelsea, Swansea, Tottenham, Man City, Everton, Southampton and Arsenal in 9 of their next 10 Premier League games. Such a tough run of fixtures. That you can't see them picking up too many points from that run, certainly not too many wins. So the quicker they can get some points on the board, obviously this is going to be a tough one. They've only got 4 points so far. At the end of that run of fixtures, it wouldn't be a surprise to see them down towards the bottom of the table. Obviously things might start getting a bit easier a bit after that, and they may look beyond that run to get the bulk of their points for the season, but any big wins from that lot will be a bonus, I think.
So they'll probably view this game as especially important. Home to West Brom, a side who haven't been that convincing this year. They've done okay, but last time out against Southampton it was a really bit of a nothing game, really, wasn't it? Very little happened in that game. There was the sort of McManaman moment in the first half when he thought he should have won a penalty, but it looked like a dive, and they almost grabbed a goal when Stecklenburg fumbled it. But apart from that, there really wasn't much in that game at all. And Southampton as well, they've had a couple of really boring draws. Watford and West Brom and Southampton have both played Watford, and they've played a lot of games West Brom against teams who they've sort of cancelled out and not really been able to do anything against. And so I think it's been a kind of difficult start for them, but they haven't really been firing up front. The Berahino thing obviously hasn't helped. Rondon's had his moments. Lambert hasn't quite settled very well. So I think there is some good players there at West Brom, but it just hasn't quite clicked yet. And I mean, defensively they've looked okay, but going forward they really haven't looked that good.
Yeah, you mentioned defensively there. Obviously, that's where Pulis has built his reputation. 3 clean sheets in a row now, which will be a positive. As you say, that draw against Southampton was a nothing game, not really too much to shout about there, but the clean sheet would be a positive. Conceded 4 in 5 games now, which is decent, and they've only conceded, 5 in 5 games. They've only conceded to Chelsea and Man City. Obviously, Chelsea haven't been the force they were last season, but they've still got attacking talent. So to have only conceded against last season's top 2, it's not a bad record there. Again, you would expect Pulis' success this season to be built on defensive solidity, and you'd expect West Brom maybe to challenge for mid-table place with that defensive solidity. Away from home, they yet to concede this season as well, which is also a plus going into this one. So there are positives for them, but as you mentioned, going forward, they need to show a bit more.
Yes, it's quite a tough game to score it. Both sides will certainly go into it thinking it's a very winnable game, but who do you see coming out on top?
Yeah, as I say, West Brom's defensive, I think that's what they'll build a victory on this weekend. I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win, I think.
I'm actually going to go completely the opposite way. I think Villa, apart from that late collapse, they did look pretty good there. I think they had some good performances against Leicester, and I think they might just nick it 1-0. So we've got one West Brom win and a Villa win. Thanks for joining us.